The call in the silence, the night is still. The air is tender, holding the weight of all that you've carried today. Somewhere within that quiet, there is a whisper not from the world, but from the one who made it. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. There is a presence that waits for you in the silence. Moses once walked through the wilderness, weary, unseen, and uncertain. He had left behind the noise of Egypt and entered the soundless desert of his own heart. There, when all striving ceased, a voice broke through the stillness, a voice that had waited patiently for years to be heard. I will be with you. These words did not thunder. They glowed. They wrapped themselves around his fear like warmth around cold hands. And tonight, that same voice speaks to you, not through fire or storm, but through quiet when everything grows. Silent, your soul begins to remember its first language, the language of peace, of belonging, of being known. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly, as if each breath is a doorway back home. Inhale, peace. Exhale, fear. Let the weight of the day fall away like sand through your fingers. You do not have to fix anything now. You do not have to prove anything. You are simply being called to rest, to listen, to be still. In the hush of this moment, the ground beneath you becomes holy. The same God who spoke to Moses in the desert speaks now into your heart, not with demands, but with presence, not with noise, but with love. Listen closely. You may not hear words, but you will sense them, a warmth, a stillness, a knowing. It is the eternal voice that whispers, I will be with you. And as those words settle into your spirit, you begin to understand that the silence is not empty. It is full of God. Let your breathing slow even more. Every exhale is a letting go. Every inhale is a new beginning. Feel the air filling your chest, the rhythm of life returning gentle and steady. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are held here. The night is not your enemy. It is the canvas on which God paints peace. Stay in this stillness a little longer. Let his presence wrap around you, unseen yet undeniable. And when your mind begins to wander, simply return to the whisper that began it all. I will be with you. The silence is no longer empty. It breathes with something holy, something alive. And yet, even when the voice of God reaches the human heart, fear often follows close behind. Moses trembled before the burning bush. The sand beneath his feet was holy, but his knees were weak. He could not lift his eyes for long, for the glory before him was both beautiful and unbearable. Who am I, he whispered, that I should go? Those words echo across centuries, through the hearts of all who have ever been called into something greater than themselves. Who am I to be loved like this? Who am I to be chosen, to be used, to be seen by God? Even now, in your quiet room, you may feel it too, that ache of unworthiness, that trembling of soul. You hear the whisper, I will be with you, but your heart answers, I am not enough. And yet, this is where the miracle begins. Because God never calls the perfect, he calls the willing. He chooses the trembling, the uncertain, the scarred. He takes what the world dismisses and turns it into a vessel of light. Listen, can you hear how gentle his voice remains? There is no accusation in his tone, only an invitation. Come, I will teach you how to walk in my presence. When Moses said, I am slow of speech, God did not rebuke him. He simply replied, Who gave man his mouth? The one who created you already knows your limits, and he still chose you. So many of us believe we must become stronger before God can use us. But strength was never his requirement. Surrender was. Close your eyes, Breathe deeply. Feel how even your breath is borrowed grace, a quiet reminder that you are sustained by a love that will not let go. Inhale slowly. Let faith rise like the tide. Exhale, let fear recede into the distance. Each breath becomes a conversation between your weakness and His strength. Now imagine Moses standing in the desert light, his heart racing, his past heavy upon him. He remembers the man he once was, a fugitive, a murderer, a wanderer. The sand beneath his feet carries the weight of both guilt and grace, and yet the fire before him does not consume. It burns, but it does not destroy. It glows with mercy. The mercy of a God who sees not what you've done, but what you can become. Maybe your own story feels too tangled to redeem. Maybe you've wandered so far you think the fire could never reach you. But tonight, in this sacred stillness, God is saying what He said to Moses. I know your name, and I will be with you. Your worth was never measured by what you've accomplished, but by the one who crafted your soul. Your story was never beyond His reach, only waiting for His touch. You do not need to be fearless to be faithful. You only need to bring your fear into His hands. When you feel small, remember, even the smallest flame can light the darkest night. Moses didn't change the world because he was confident. He changed it because he said yes, shaking, stuttering, but believing enough to take the next step. Perhaps tonight, your yes is simply choosing to rest in His presence, to stop running from what feels too big and instead whisper, "Be with me, God." The stars above the desert sky witnessed Moses. Trembling, they also witnessed his obedience. Heaven smiled, not because he was brave, but because he was willing. So tonight, as you lie in the dim light of your room, imagine that same desert sky stretching above you. The same presence that called to Moses now surrounds your bed. The same voice that steadied his heart now steadies yours. You are not alone in your hesitation. Even prophets trembled before their purpose. Even saints wept before surrender. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is trust in the middle of it. Say it quietly, almost like a secret between you and God. Even in my fear, you are with me. Let the words repeat like waves on a gentle shore. Even in my fear, you are with me. Even in my weakness, you are enough. You may feel small, but God is infinite within you. You may feel broken, but His wholeness fills your cracks like gold. You may feel lost, but His light is already finding you. Do not rush this moment. Let the night hold you. Let His presence calm the trembling within. If tears come, let them fall freely. They are the desert's rain, soft, healing. Holy dot, they water the soil of your heart where faith is about to bloom. When Moses lowered his eyes before the fire, he thought it was out of shame, but God saw something else, reverence, a man learning, for the first time, that humility is the beginning of holiness. The same fire that once frightened you will soon guide you. The same silence that once felt empty will soon speak of peace, because every "Who am I?" is answered by, "I will be with you." Inhale, you are with me. Exhale, you are with me. Fear begins to dissolve, not because the future is certain, but because His presence is. Rest in that presence now. Let His peace reach the fragile places in you. You don't have to silence the doubts. Just let Him meet you there. The night grows deeper, but its darkness is not empty. It's sacred, for in the dark, faith learns to see. Somewhere in the silence, the whisper returns, gently reminding, "I will be with you." And when your heart finally believes it, fear bows to something greater. Love, let that love guide you into stillness. Let your body rest, your mind quiet, your spirit lean upon his everlasting arms. For the one who called Moses is the same who calls you tonight, not because you are fearless, but because you are his dot. Breathe again, slowly. Hear your pulse steady. Hear your thoughts fall quiet. Hear heaven's promise settle like soft rain. I am with you, I am with you, I am with you. The wind moves softly over the sand. It carries no song, no promise, only the sound of emptiness. But even emptiness can be holy. This is the desert, the place between what was and what will be, the space where everything familiar fades, and only your breath remains. Moses walked this same silence, before the voice spoke, before the fire burned, before the staff split the sea. He knew the desert as his only companion, and perhaps, in some quiet way, you do too. You know the desert of unanswered prayers, the desert of waiting, of wanting, of wondering if God still remembers your name. You know what it feels like to wake and find your heart dry, your faith cracked like the earth beneath the sun. But listen closely. The desert is not a punishment. It is an invitation. Here distractions die and truth begins to breathe. Here the noise of the world fades, and what remains is the heartbeat of God, steady and near. In the desert, you learn what cannot be learned anywhere else, that God is not found in plenty, but in presence. The Israelites wandered 40 years, not because God forgot them, but because he wanted them to remember him. He led them into emptiness so that they could be filled only with him. So when you find yourself in your own desert, when the answers don't come, when the silence feels too heavy, when your prayers seem to vanish into the wind, do not despair. This is sacred ground, too. The same God who was with Moses is with you now. He leads you here not to harm you, but to unburden you, not to take everything away, but to show you that he is everything you need. Close your eyes, breathe. Let the still air of the desert settle inside your chest. There is no rush here, no performance, no noise to drown in. Inhale, grace, exhale, striving, inhale, faith, exhale, fear. The desert strips away what is false, but what remains is truer than gold. Your worth does not depend on your comfort, but on your connection to the one who walks beside you, even when you see no footprints. His presence hovers like shade in the heat. He is the whisper behind your heartbeat, the stillness behind every silence. You may feel forgotten, but the truth is, God often hides in the quiet, so that when he speaks, you will truly hear. Moses learned this language, the language of stillness, where each breath was prayer, and each silence became sanctuary in the world. Silence feels like absence, but in the kingdom, silence is where love speaks loudest. Tonight, as you listen to your own breathing, you are walking through your desert. Do not rush to leave it. Do not fear its emptiness. Every dry place holds a hidden spring. Every long night hides a sunrise waiting to appear. What if your desert is not a delay, but a preparation? What if this stillness is not God's distance, but his drawing near? He is teaching you to live without noise, to trust without proof, to love without needing to see. The desert is where faith learns to stand. On its own 2 feet, it's where you discover that God's silence is never rejection, it's invitation in the desert. Every small mercy becomes a miracle, a drop of water, a breeze after heat, a star breaking through the dark sky. So notice these things tonight: the rhythm of your breath, the quiet hum of the world asleep, the faint pulse beneath your skin, all of it singing the same truth. You are alive, you are loved, you are not alone if you listen. You'll hear it, the same voice that spoke to Moses, still echoing through the still air. I will be with you. Let that promise settle deep. You are not walking this barren place alone. There is a presence beside you, a shadow that never fades, a hand that never withdraws. Even when you cannot see the path ahead, he is already there, preparing what you will one day call a miracle. So, breathe again. Let the desert wind move through you. Let it carry away the old dust of fear and doubt. Let it make room for new faith, for quiet strength, for hope that needs no proof. Moses did not know how long his journey would last. He did not know where the next oasis would appear, but he learned to walk by presence, not by sight. And that is what faith really is. Not knowing the map, but knowing the guide. You may not have answers tonight, but you have a promise. You may not see the way, but you are seen. Your desert is holy because he is here. Your silence is sacred because he speaks within it. Your waiting is not wasted. Worship, stay here a little longer. Let the night breathe around you. Let peace find you where you are. No fixing, no forcing, no, only being. Inhale peace, exhale fear, inhale light, exhale everything. Else the desert will not last forever. But the lessons you learn here will. Faith formed in silence cannot be shaken by storms. Trust built in stillness cannot be taken by noise. So rest now. Let the presence wrap around you like soft wind over sand. You are walking on holy ground, and when dawn comes, you will rise lighter, quieter, stronger, because you have met God in the silence, and the silence has met you. Breathe one last time. Feel the air move through you, gentle and alive. Hear the whisper that has carried you through the night. I will be with you, even in your desert. The desert has grown still again. The stars hang above you, bright and endless. Somewhere in that vast quiet, something begins to stir, a light. Small at first, then growing, flickering. Alive, you walk toward it slowly, your steps soft in the sand. The air shifts, and what seemed like an ordinary night begins to glow with wonder. The bush ahead is burning, but it does not burn out. The fire moves, but the leaves do not crumble. The branches blaze, but the roots remain untouched. And in that moment, the world holds its breath. This is no ordinary flame. It is the fire of the presence, holy, unexplainable, pure. It does not destroy. It transforms. It burns away fear, but leaves the soul whole. Moses stood before this same fire once, his heart trembling, his sandals filling with sand. He felt the heat and knew this was not a place to stand as before. Then came the voice, not thunder, not wind, but a voice that carried eternity in a single breath. Moses, Moses, he answered, here I am. 3 words that changed the world. 3 words that turned a wanderer into a prophet, a fugitive into a friend of God. Take off your sandals, the voice said, for the place where you stand is holy ground. Holy ground not because of where he stood, but because of who stood with him. Now, feel the sand beneath your own feet. This room, this silence. This night it is holy too, not because you are perfect, but because he is present. Where God is, holiness breathes. Where God is, Everything ordinary becomes sacred. Breathe it in, the scent of grace in the air, the warmth of divine fire on your face. You are standing where heaven and earth meet. Do not run from the fire. Do not fear its heat. This flame is not here to harm you. It is here to awaken you. God's fire purifies, but it does not destroy. It burns away what is false, what is heavy, what you were never meant to carry. You have walked through deserts of emptiness, and now you have come to the fire of purpose. The same God who met Moses in the wilderness meets you now in your quiet. He calls your name with the same tenderness, the same certainty. I know you, I see you, I have chosen you. The light flickers against your closed eyes. You can almost feel his gaze, gentle and fierce all at once. What do you do when the Eternal calls your name? You do what Moses did. You stop, you bow, you listen, for the fire speaks not to your ears, but to your soul. There are places in you that no one else can touch, wounds too deep for words, questions too old for answers, but the fire reaches them. It moves through your silence like a river of gold, melting the cold places, softening the stone. This is what it means to be seen by God, to be looked at not for what you've done, but for who you are. Moses, he said, I have seen the suffering of my people. I have heard their cries, and I will send you. Can you feel how those words echo even now? I have seen you, I have heard you, and I will send you. Maybe your mission isn't to free a nation, but to forgive. Maybe it isn't to speak before kings, but to love someone who forgot how to believe. Maybe it's simply to wake each morning and trust again. Whatever your calling, it begins here, before the fire, barefoot, small, and seen that fire dances softly. It speaks without sound, but every spark carries meaning. I am with you, the same promise, spoken once in the desert, now spoken again in the quiet of your heart. Let those words circle you like light. They are not distant history, they are living breath. Every flame is a reminder God's presence is not reserved for temples or mountains. It appears wherever hearts make room. Even now, as you listen, He is here, closer than your pulse, truer than your thoughts. Let His presence warm what has grown cold. Let His love reach what you've kept hidden. Let His fire refine, not consume. Inhale the warmth of His mercy. Exhale the ashes of your fear. Inhale the light of His love. Exhale every shadow that lingers. The night around you glows softly now. You realize it isn't the bush that burns. It's the love of God revealed in everything that lives. This fire has always been burning. It burned in creation's first dawn. It burned in Abraham's heart. It burned in the prophet's dreams. And it burns in you. Now a flame that cannot die because it is not yours. It is His. When Moses turned toward the fire, everything changed. He didn't find answers. He found presence. He didn't find clarity. He found calling. And maybe tonight, you are turning to Dot, not toward a flame you can see, but toward a warmth you can feel. This is what it means to turn aside, to notice the holy hidden in the ordinary, to stop running long enough for God to speak. If you listen closely, you will hear Him call your name too, not with volume, but with tenderness. And when you hear it, simply answer, "Here I am." That's all He's ever wanted. Your presence for His presence. Your yes for His grace. Let that yes rise quietly within you, without pressure, without fear. A small yes is still enough to move mountains. Stay here in this light. Let it rest on your face. Sink into your chest. Fill every dark corner of your soul. The fire that burns before you is the same. Love that guards your sleep. It will not fade when you close your eyes. It will keep glowing, steady, gentle, eternal. The voice whispers once more, just before the wind takes it away. Where you stand is holy ground, and it is. Because he is here, the night deepens, but the fire remains. A quiet, endless reminder, you are known, you are chosen, and you are never alone. The fire still burns. The air around it hums with a presence that feels both vast and near. You stand in its glow, the warmth touching your skin like breath. Then, from within the flame, a voice, soft, steady, and unmistakable. Moses, Moses, the sound of your own name spoken by the Creator of all things. The same syllables you've heard all your life. But this time, they are filled with eternity. He doesn't call the strong first. He calls the listening, and when he speaks your name, the world grows quiet to make room for his love. Close your eyes. Imagine that same voice, now whispering your name, not with judgment, not with demand, but with affection, as though he's known you since the beginning, because he has. Before you ever spoke a word, he shaped the sound of your name in his own mouth. Before you ever drew breath, he breathed the thought of you into existence. You are not random, you are remembered, you are wanted. Listen again, the whisper travels through the air, not to your ears, but to your soul. He calls you as he called Moses, by name, twice, because love always calls twice, once to awaken you, and once to assure you that it wasn't a mistake. Moses, Moses, child, child. He repeats it so that you will know. This is not a dream. This is not the echo of your own mind. It is the heartbeat of heaven speaking directly to you. When God calls your name, he is not revealing what you must do. He is revealing who you already are. Each time he says your name, he wraps it in grace. He breathes over it the tenderness of belonging. You are not a project to him. You are a person, known, seen, and deeply loved. There are moments when his voice feels far away, hidden beneath the noise of life. But tonight, here in this quiet, you can hear it again, the gentle, unhurried tone of a father calling his child home. It is not a shout from the clouds. It is not a demand from heaven's throne. It is a whisper in your spirit that says, I have never stopped thinking of you. Let that truth wash over you like light. Let it sink into the places that feel forgotten. Every corner of your being was designed to recognize that sound, the sound of being known. There is no loneliness that can outlast the voice of love. There is no failure so loud it can drown it out. There is no shame so deep that it cannot be called by name and lifted. When God speaks your name, he is not reminding you of who you were, but of who you are becoming. Maybe tonight, you need to hear him say it again. Maybe you've been running so long, you've forgot how it sounds. Be still, let him say it in the quiet of your heart. Hear him call you, not by the names the world gave you, not by the titles you've tried to live up to, but by the one he gave you before time began, beloved. That is who you are, beloved, when you are strong, beloved when you are weak, beloved when you get it right, beloved even when you don't breathe that in. Breathe that in, let the word rest against your ribs. Let it fill your lungs. Inhale, beloved. Exhale, belonging. Inhale, known. Exhale, loved. There is something sacred about being known by name. It means you are not invisible. It means your story matters. It means heaven recognizes your footsteps when you walk. You have always belonged to someone, even in the years you tried to disappear, even in the moments you hid behind shame or silence. He never stopped calling. He never stopped whispering your name into the wind. The voice of God is not loud. It is loyal. It follows you through every season. It waits through every distance. It never forgets what you sound like when you pray. Sometimes he calls in moments of wonder, like the burning bush. Other times he calls through tears and confusion. But always his tone is the same, steady, kind, full of mercy. If you've ever felt too small to be seen, too lost to be found, listen closely. He is calling you now. You do not need to be ready. You only need to be present. Because when he calls, he also provides the courage to answer. Moses, he said, take off your sandals, a sign of surrender, a symbol of trust, an act of saying, I am yours. Maybe, for you that moment comes in letting go of control, or in forgiving what hurt you, or simply in breathing deeply and saying, here I am. It doesn't have to be perfect. It only has to be real. Let this be your holy ground, the floor beneath you, the air around you, the beating of your heart, all sacred now. Because where God calls, God dwells. You can almost feel it, the warmth spreading through your chest, the peace that comes from being truly known. It's not about doing more, but about realizing he's already here. The voice that called Moses. From the bushes, the same voice that calls you now through the hum of the night, through the rhythm of your breathing, through the silence that feels alive. And just as he spoke then, he speaks now. I know your name. I have written it on my hands. You are mine. Rest in that. You are not forgotten. You are not anonymous. You are named, claimed, and held. Let that truth be the lullaby that quiets your thoughts. Let it be the light that flickers in the darkness. You have a God who doesn't just know your name. He treasures it. He carved it into eternity. He sings it over you when you sleep. So tonight, as your eyes grow heavy, listen for that voice once more. Not to obey, not to perform, but simply to remember. You are known. You are loved. You are called. Breathe deeply. Let the whisper find you in the stillness. I know your name, and I am with you. The fire burns quietly nearby. Its light dances over your skin. And for the first time in a long while, you no longer feel lost, only found. The fire fades into the distance, but its light remains inside you. The warmth of the presence still lingers, steady as breath, quiet as grace, and somewhere beyond the sand and stillness, you hear another sound, the sound of water. It begins softly, a trickle beneath the wind, then grows, gathering into a rhythm. The rhythm of life itself. You follow it. Each step takes you closer to the memory of beginnings, closer to the heartbeat of creation. The river glimmers beneath the moonlight. It moves slowly, as though it knows something the desert does not, that even in dry places, life can flow again. This is the river of rescue. It carried Moses once, long before the burning bush, long before his voice trembled in front of kings. He was just a child then, small, helpless, drifting, placed in a basket by a mother who loved him enough to let go, a mother whose faith outweighed her fear. She set him on the river, trusting the current more than her own hands, believing that God's plan could float on fragile reeds. And the river did not drown him. It delivered him, the same water that could have swallowed him whole. Beckham, the path that carried him to safety. That is the mystery of grace. What should have destroyed Yalbek comes the very thing that saves you. Maybe tonight, you're floating on your own kind of river, a season you can't control, a current that feels too strong. You're not sure where it's taking you, and all you can do is let go. But listen, you are not lost. The current that carries you is the current of His mercy. It knows where to lead. You are not drifting by accident. You are being guided by design. Every turn of the water, every unseen bend, is part of a rescue already written. The same God who guided that small basket through the reeds is guiding you now. Through the fear, through the unknown, through the dark waters that promise both danger and deliverance. You are not sinking. You are being carried. Close your eyes. Can you feel the river moving around you? Cool, alive, endless. It wraps your ankles, touches your hands, and whispers peace. The water doesn't rush. It hums. Each ripple sings the same song. I am with you. Inhale mercy. Exhale control. Inhale trust. Exhale resistance. The current deepens. You see reflections of your life passing by, moments when you thought you wouldn't make it, days when the waves were too high, nights when you couldn't find the shore. But still, you are here, still breathing, still loved. That means the river never left you, even when you couldn't see it. Grace was moving beneath the surface, carrying you toward light. The Israelites, too, would one day stand before water again. A sea that seemed impossible to cross. Behind them, fear. Before them, impossibility. And yet, the same God who parted those water cysts, the one who parts your fears, tonight He doesn't remove the waves. He walks with you through them. He doesn't always calm the storm. Sometimes He teaches you to breathe beneath it. Every breath you take is proof. The Spirit still hovers over the waters, the same Spirit that hovered over chaos in the beginning, bringing order, bringing life, bringing peace. Your story has always been a river, winding, unpredictable, alive. But God has always been its source and its destination. Maybe the waters you feared most are the very ones He's using to wash you clean. Grace is like that. It doesn't always look gentle. Sometimes it looks like a flood, but every drop carries redemption. Let the river move through your thoughts now, clearing the debris of worry, washing away the silt of shame. Let it cleanse your memories, not by erasing them, but by healing them. You are not what you've done. You are what He's rescuing. Moses would one day stand before another body of water, staff in hand, heart trembling again. He would look back at the river that once carried him forward, at the sea that now stood in his way, and God would whisper again, the same promise He speaks to you tonight. I will make a way through the waters. No current is too strong. No depth is too dark. No past is too heavy for His mercy to lift. The river you feared will carry you to freedom. The water that once terrified, you will teach you to float. Because faith is not about fighting the current. It's about trusting the one who commands it. Feel the flow beneath you now. Let it take you where peace is waiting. Let it remind you that surrender is not defeat. It's direction. Breathe deeply. You are safe. You are seen. You are carried. Every drop around you is a whisper of His care. Every ripple is a reflection of His grace. And when the water stills, you'll find yourself on the other side, standing on ground you never thought you'd reach, your heart lighter, your spirit reborn. Then you'll look back, and the river will shimmer behind you, not as a threat, but as a testimony. You will say, what once tried to drown me, carried me closer to God. The current the sound of water fades to quiet. Now. OWS. The moonlight rests upon the surface like a blessing. The night holds you gently, and peace settles deeper than before. You are not sinking. You are being saved. You are not drowning. You are being delivered. The river still moves, slow, steady, alive, and through its rhythm you can still hear his voice. I will be with you. I have always been with you. The river has quieted. The current slows into silence. And you stand once more on solid ground. Your feet are steady, but your heart is heavy, because sometimes, even after the rescue, we still carry what tried to drown us. You can feel it, the weight you've carried for years, the memories, the expectations, the guilt that whispers you should have done more. Every heart knows this. HEAVINESS. It hides behind our smiles, behind our strength, behind the way we say, I'm fine, when we are not fine. But God knows. He sees how your shoulders bend under invisible burdens. He hears the sighs you release into the night, the prayers too tired to form into words. He whispers now, not to demand, but to invite. Lay it down. You don't have to carry it anymore. Not the failures, not the fears, not the endless trying to be enough. Even Moses, the chosen one, grew weary. He carried a people who complained, a mission that seemed impossible, a heart that often doubted his own worth. And when the weight became too much, God didn't rebuke him. He gave him rest. He sent helpers. He spoke gently. He reminded Moses that the burden was never his to bear alone. Listen, the same invitation is being spoken to you now. You were never asked to carry the world, only to walk with the one who already holds it. Close your eyes. Breathe. Feel the heaviness sitting on your chest, not to shame it, but to name it. Name the burdens you've been holding, the people you've tried to save, the mistakes you've replayed, the future you've tried to control. Whisper them to him now. Each one, every piece. He is listening. He has been waiting for this moment. The moment you stop carrying and start surrendering. Inhale, release, exhale, receive. Each breath is a prayer, each exhale a letting go, each inhale a reminder that grace still fills the space you've emptied. You don't have to be strong tonight. You don't have to hold it together. God is not looking for your perfection. He is looking for your permission, permission to carry what you cannot. The Israelites once grew tired in the wilderness. They complained. They stumbled. They doubted. And still, every morning, manna fell from heaven, daily grace, daily mercy, daily reminder. You do not carry this alone. What if peace has been waiting not at the end of your effort, but in the middle of your release? Imagine your burdens now as stones, each one carved with the names of what weighs you down. Fear, regret, expectation, loss, control. You've been walking with them for years. Your arms ache, your steps slow, your spirit weary. Now imagine setting them down, one by one. At the feet of God, they do not make a sound when they hit the ground. Only silence, the silence of surrender, the silence that heals. Look at your empty hands. Do you see? They were never meant to be full of burdens. They were meant to be open, ready to receive. Sometimes letting go feels like failure, but in God's hands, it's faith. Moses once lifted his arms in exhaustion, and the battle turned in Israel's favor only when others held them up. Even his strength needed support. You too are allowed to lean. You too are allowed to rest. Let your head fall back against His promise now. Let your body unclench. Your soul exhale. You have been strong for so long. But tonight, you can be still. You can stop trying to fix what only grace can heal. You can stop proving what has already been forgiven. The voice that called you by name still calls you now, not to do, but to be beloved, be held, be free. When you stop carrying, you start walking lighter. You begin to see that the weight was never holy, the surrender was. There is a quiet strength in empty hands. They can lift in worship. They can open in prayer. They can finally rest. So open yours. Let Him take what you cannot keep. Let Him hold what you cannot fix. Feel His presence wrap around you, not as demand, but as comfort, not as pressure, but as peace. Inhale, surrender. Exhale, peace. This is what it means to be carried. You are not falling apart. You are falling into grace. You do not have to understand it to receive it. You only have to stop resisting it. Let the stillness speak to you. It says, you are safe here. It says, you are seen. It says, you are not alone. The night stretches wide, but it no longer feels empty. It feels like rest. Somewhere deep within, the whisper returns, soft, steady, familiar. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You know this verse, you've read it, but tonight, you feel it. This is the rest that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. This is the rest that carries you even when life does not make sense. So breathe again. Inhale His peace. Exhale your striving. You have walked far enough for one night. It's time to let grace walk the rest of the way for you. Lay your burdens down beside the river. Let the current carry them away. Watch as the water closes over them, softly, finally, forever. The stars above bear witness. The wind hums its quiet amen, and heaven whispers once more, you were never meant to carry this alone. Rest now, light as air, held by the same hands that parted seasoned, calmed storms. He is carrying you still. The night is quiet again. The wind has softened, and the weight that once pressed upon your shoulders has finally lifted. You stand in stillness, light as air, as though your very soul has exhaled. The desert stretches wide around you, vast, empty, and yet not empty. Something new is here, something unseen, yet deeply felt. It is peace, not the kind that fades when morning comes, but the kind that fills even the darkest night with warmth. And in that peace, you see it, a table, simple, glowing in the soft light of dawn, set in the middle of the wilderness. There is no grand feast, no noise, no crowd, only stillness, and the quiet miracle of being invited. The voice you've come to know speaks again, gentle as always. Come and sit. You hesitate for a moment because it feels too sacred, too undeserved. But then you remember, grace is never earned, it is offered, so you come closer. The air feels warmer now. The table is made of light, woven from mercy itself. There is bread, fresh as morning. There is water, clear as forgiveness. There is rest, woven into every breath you take. You sit, and as you do, you realize this is no ordinary table. This is the place where heaven meets hunger, where emptiness becomes abundance, where loneliness turns into communion. For years, you've been feeding on worry, drinking from fear, trying to fill yourself with the things that fade. But now you are invited to eat what endures. Come, the voice whispers again, and be filled. Close your eyes. Let the invitation reach the places that still ache. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't even have to speak. Just receive, because this is who God is, the one who prepares a table net after the battle. But in the middle of it, He doesn't wait until the wilderness is over. He meets you right in the middle, where the sand is still hot, where the night is still long, where you are still learning how to trust. And there, He feeds you, not with promises of tomorrow, but with the presence of today. Inhale grace, exhale gratitude. Each breath becomes a bite of peace, each exhale a sip of mercy. This is not a feast for the eyes, it is a feast for the soul. Every bite says, "You are loved." Every sip says, "You are mine." Every moment at this table says, "You belong." The bread before you glows softly. It is the same bread He spoke of long ago. I am the bread of life. And you remember, it is not just nourishment, it is nearness. You take and eat, and as you do, something inside you loosens the fear of not having enough, the ache of always striving, the hunger that never seemed to end now. You are full, not of things, but of Him. This is what it means to be satisfied in the wilderness, to know that abundance is not about plenty, but about presence. The desert around you hasn't changed, but it feels different now. It feels alive. Every grain of sand seems to shimmer with light. You hear the whisper again. You prepare a table before me, even in the presence of my enemies. Yes, even here, even where fear once sat, even where loss once lingered, He prepares peace. He prepares provision. He prepares Himself. Look around this sacred table. There is enough for you. There is enough for your worries, your wounds, your waiting. There is enough mercy to meet every memory, enough love to fill every lack. The cup before you overflows, not with wine, but with wonder, not with luxury, but with life. You lift it slowly, and the fragrance that rises smells like hope. Hope for tomorrow, hope for healing, hope that even in desolation, God still provides beauty. You drink, and the coolness spreads through you like light. It fills every hollow space, every place you thought would never be whole again. You begin to understand. This is what abundance feels like. Not more things, more peace, not a crowded table, just one set for two, you, and the one who loves you beyond measure. He looks at you, not with demand, but delight. He smiles as though He's been waiting for this moment all along, and you realize He has, before you entered the wilderness, before you carried the weight, before you crossed the river. He had already prepared this table. It was never about the desert. It was always about the feast. He knew the hunger would come. He knew the thirst would ache. And so He prepared in advance bread for the weary, water for the wandering, peace for the restless. You sit in silence, the kind that doesn't need words, the kind that says, "Stay." You take another breath, another bite, another moment of being. The world can wait here. Time slows. An eternity sits across from you. The night wraps around you like a gentle blanket. The stars shimmer above, each one reflecting the light of the one who never leaves. You rest your hands on the table. You feel its warmth. as though the wood itself is alive. You whisper softly, "Thank you," and heaven answers, "You're welcome, always." The meal continues, not with food, but with communion, a shared silence between creator and creation, the kind of silence that feeds the soul more than words ever could. Inhale, rest, exhale, peace, your hunger quiets, your thirst fades, you are filled. Not because you took more, but because you finally stopped running. This table will never disappear. It exists wherever He does, in every heart that chooses stillness, in every soul that chooses trust. And as you rise, the voice whispers one last time, wherever you go, "I will prepare a table for you. You will never hunger alone again." You take one last look. The bread glows softly, the cup shimmers, and the light lingers in the air long after you've stepped away. You walk onward, satisfied, strengthened, sustained. The desert no longer feels like a place of lack. It feels like home, because now you know, in every wilderness, there is a table waiting, and God Himself sits at it. The meal is finished. The table fades into the dawn, but the warmth it left behind remains. You rise slowly, filled not with food, but with peace, the kind that doesn't end when the music stops, the kind that walks beside you long after the night is gone. The desert air is cool, the horizon glows, softly a quiet hint of morning. You start to walk again, and that's when you notice it. Light, not the harsh light of the sun, but something softer, golden, gentle, alive. It moves before you, spilling across the sand, illuminating every step. You don't know where it comes from, but somehow you know who it is. This is the light that never leaves, the same light that once burned in the bush, that led Israel by night, that filled the tabernacle with glory, the same light that spoke, "I am the light of the world." It shines not just around you, but within you. Every place that once felt dark now glows. Every shadow that once frightened you now softens under its warmth. The light doesn't rush ahead, it moves with you, step by step, slow enough for trust to grow. Sometimes it blazes bright, a pillar in the wilderness. Other times it flickers softly, a candle in the silence, but it never leaves. You stop walking and let it surround you. It doesn't ask you to be perfect. It doesn't demand that you hurry. It only asks you to be still enough to notice you. Lift your face toward it. The warmth touches your skin like a promise. The voice you've come to know whispers again, "I will go before you and make the crooked places straight." You close your eyes. For a moment, the world disappears. Only light remains and peace. This is what presence feels like. Not loud, not distant, but near, constant. Faithful, you remember the times you walked through. Darkness, the nights you thought you'd never find your way out. The prayers that felt unanswered, and yet somehow you made it here, because the light never left. It followed you through every shadow, waited outside every closed door, and found you again when you thought you were too far gone. God's light is not something you earn, it's something that finds you. It doesn't vanish when you fail, and it doesn't dim when you doubt. It stays, always, even when clouds cover the sky, even when fear covers your heart. The light is still shining behind it all. Within it all, you can feel it now, like a heartbeat of heaven pulsing through the air. Breathe. With it, inhale light, exhale shadow, inhale presence, exhale fear. Every breath becomes an act of faith, Every moment becomes a conversation with eternity. You take a step forward. The sand glows under your feet. The way ahead is clear. But even if it weren't, you would still walk because you trust the light more than your sight. This is how the people of Israel traveled through the wilderness, not by maps or plans, but by light. When the cloud moved, they moved. When the fire stayed, they stayed. It was not about knowing where, but about knowing who. And tonight, that same light leads you. Maybe your wilderness isn't made of sand, but of uncertainty. Maybe your darkness isn't night, but worry. Still, His light knows how to reach it. It finds its way into every hidden corner of the soul, revealing not just where you are, but who you are, a child of the light. You were never meant to live in the shadows. You were meant to shine. The world needs your light, not the one you create, but the one you carry, because when you walk in His glow, you become a reflection of Him. Every kind word becomes a spark, every act of grace a flame, every prayer a beacon. Soon, the wilderness isn't dark anymore. It shimmers, alive, with reflected glory. You smile softly. The thought feels almost too simple. The light you follow is the same light that lives in you. God doesn't just walk beside you. He shines through you. You are not just guided, you are glowing. You look down at your hands. They tremble slightly, but there's warmth in them. A quiet reminder that love was never meant to stay still. We're rescued to become a reflection. You were healed to become a vessel. You were found to help others find their way. And even if you can only shine a little, that's enough. Because even a small flame pushes back the dark. Let your heart say it softly now, like a prayer wrapped in gratitude. I carry your light. Inhale, gratitude. Exhale, glory. The path ahead begins to curve. You don't know where it leads, but you're no longer afraid. You've learned that darkness is only temporary, and light is forever. This is not just any light. It is the love of God made visible. It is the presence that guides, the peace that guards, the promise that never breaks. And even when the journey grows long, and your strength feels small, remember, the light doesn't depend on you, it depends on Him. The flame that burns within your heart is eternal. You can rest in that now. No matter how far you travel, no matter what the day brings, the light will find you. It will guide you home. The voice whispers one last time, soft as dawn. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. You lift your eyes. The desert is glowing. The horizon blooms with morning, and somewhere deep inside, you realize you've never been alone, not even for a moment. The light that goes before Yah will stay behind you and dwell within you forever. You walk until the sand begins to change. The ground beneath your feet grows firm, and the horizon rises before you, a mountain, vast and waiting. Its peak disappears into the clouds. The air grows thinner, cooler, as though heaven itself leans closer. This is the mountain of meeting, the place where God and man draw near. The same mountain where Moses once stood, barefoot, trembling, as glory touched the earth. You pause at its base. The climb looks impossible, steep, silent, sacred. But something inside you whispers, go. Because sometimes faith means walking upward Devon when you don't yet see the summit. You begin to climb. Each step feels heavier than the last. Your breath shortens. Your heart beats steady and slow. The world below grows smaller. The air above grows brighter. You remember the path you've already walked. The fear, the desert, the river, the table, the light, and you realize each one led you here. The mountain is not a new beginning. It's the revelation of everything you've learned along the way. Halfway up, you stop to rest. The wind moves through your hair. Cool and clean, it carries whispers, not words, but presence. You close your eyes. The silence feels alive, as though the mountain itself is breathing. It is not empty, it is waiting for you. You stand again and keep climbing. Every stone beneath your feet tells a story of prophets who once passed this way, of prayers that rose like incense, of lives that burned with purpose. When you reach the next ridge, the air is shimmering with light. It's not the sun, it's something deeper, a brightness that feels like truth. You take another step, and the world begins to fade. The worries, the noise, the smallness of earthly things. You are not escaping life. You are entering presence. You can feel it now, the closeness of God. It hums through the air, pulses beneath the stone, beats within your chest. The higher you climb, the quieter everything becomes, until finally you reach the top. The clouds open like a curtain, and light pours through, not blinding, but holy, not harsh, but healing. This is the place, the summit, the meeting ground of heaven and earth. You fall to your knees, not out of fear, but out of awe. And then a voice, soft, familiar, infinite. Be still. It isn't command, it's a comfort, a reminder that you don't have to strive. Here, you don't have to prove anything, only have to be. The same God who spoke to Moses in thunder now speaks to you in stillness. He doesn't shout, he doesn't rush, he whispers through the light. I have waited for you. The words settle deep inside you, and something shifts. You realize that all along, you were not climbing to find him, you were climbing to remember that he was with you all the way. Every step upward was guided, every stumble was held, every breath was grace. You lift your head, and the view takes your breath away. Below you lies the desert, endless and golden. But from this height, it doesn't look barren, it looks beautiful. You can see where the river ran, where the fire burned, where the table waited. You can see the path of your journey, winding, painful, perfect, and above you, only light. You stretch out your hand. The light touches it gently. You don't need to see his face to know he's here. You feel it in the warmth, in the peace, in the silence that sings. You whisper, Lord, I am here. And heaven answers, I am here too. There is no distance now, no fear, only communion. The mountain trembles softly, as if creation itself is breathing with you. You realize something sacred. Meeting God is not about reaching high places. It's about letting him reach you. The summit isn't above. It's within. He was never waiting at the top. He was walking beside you all along. But sometimes, we have to climb down, see what's been beside us the whole time. You sit in the light, hands open, heart still. There are no more prayers to speak, only gratitude. Thank you for the climb. Thank you for the breath. Thank you for the breath that never left. The clouds drift slowly around you, forming shapes of memory and mercy. You breathe again, slow, steady. Alive, inhale. Glory, exhale. Gratitude, inhale. Peace, exhale. Praise. You are home in his presence. This is what the mountain was always meant to be, not a place to conquer, but a place to commune. You remember what was written. The Lord descended on Mount Sinai in fire, and the whole mountain trembled greatly. Yes, and yet tonight the trembling feels gentle, like the heartbeat of creation in sync with your own. The same fire that once burned with Wano burns with peace. You rest in its glow. It fills your lungs, your mind, your soul. The climb was worth it, not for the view, but for the voice. And that voice now whispers one last time, you have seen my light. You have felt my presence. Now go and let others see me through you. The words settle over you like dew, not heavy, but holy. You nod quietly. You understand. The journey isn't ending here. It's beginning anew. Down the mountain, into the world, with light still glowing in your chest. You stand slowly. The wind brushes your face. Soft, like a blessing. The mountain hums beneath your feet, alive, awake, as though it too rejoices. And as you begin to descend, you realize that though the peak will fade behind you, the presence will not. The mountain was not just a place you visited, it is a part of you now. The light that met you here will walk with you always, down into the valleys, through the shadows, and back into the hearts of others who still climb in the dark. The same voice that called you upward now calls you outward, not to escape the world, but to illuminate it. You smile softly, feeling the warmth still glowing within. It is steady, quiet. Sure, the light that never leaves us become the light that you carry. You step down the path. The world below begins to awaken, and the dawn greets you like an old friend. You whisper into the wind, "Thank you." And the wind answers in a language only the soul understands. Go in peace. You are never alone. The mountain stands behind you now, wrapped in mist and light. Its peak fades into the sky, a memory, a meeting place, a home for your heart. But you cannot stay there. No one was meant to. The voice that met you on the summit calls you to descend, not away from his presence, but deeper into his purpose. And so you walk. The air grows warmer, the path steeper. The clouds give way to earth again. Each step down feels different than the climb. You are lighter now, but the world feels heavier. This is the Valley of Trust, the place where faith leaves the mountain and begins to live. The light that once shone around Yono glows within you, small but steady, enough for the path ahead. You don't see far, but you see enough, and sometimes that's what trust looks like. You remember what it felt like to be on the mountain, to feel close to God, to breathe the air of eternity. But here in the valley, the air feels thicker, the world louder. It's easy to wonder, did I leave him behind? And then, somewhere in the quiet, you hear it again, the same whisper, gentle, familiar. I am still with you. You smile. Of course he is. The light that met you there walks with you here. Trust is learning to see him not only in the glory, but in the ground beneath your feet. The valley stretches wide before you. Fields of dust and stone, shadows cast by unseen hills. You can't see what's ahead, but you keep walking. Faith is no longer a feeling now. It's a rhythm, one step, one breath, one yes at a time. Inhale, trust. Exhale, doubt. Inhale, presence. Exhale, fear. Each breath a reminder. He is near. The wind shifts gently, carrying the scent of rain. You Lift your eyes, clouds forming in the distance. The desert that once seemed endless is about to bloom. Trust often looks like walking through what feels barrenental. It flowers again. You keep going, your steps slow, your heart steady. Sometimes the path disappears altogether. You pause, unsure which way to turn. But then you remember, it's not your job to know the way. It's your joy to follow the one who does. Trust doesn't mean understanding. It means resting in the one who understands everything. You walk further into the valley. The shadows stretch long. You can feel the weight of uncertainty pressing at the edges of your mind. But even here, peace hums beneath the noise, because trust is not the absence of questions. It's the presence of assurance. Moses learned this too when he descended the mountain. His face still shone with God's light, but the people were restless. They doubted. They feared. They turned to idols. Still, he loved them. Still, he led them. Still, he trusted that God's promise was greater than their failure, and so must you. Your valley may not look like theirs, but the lesson is the same. Carry light into dark places. Carry faith into fear. Carry grace into chaos. The valley is not a punishment. It is a proving ground for peace. You reach a bend in the path. A river runs quietly there, small, hidden, flowing between rocks. You kneel beside it and cup your hands. The water is cool, alive, reflecting the light above. You drink, and the taste reminds you the same. God who met you on the mountain is present in this stream. He is not only the God of revelation, but the God of repetition, the daily mercy, the simple faithfulness, the unseen miracle. You rise again. Your steps feel lighter. Now, the valley no longer seems lonely. It feels alive. Birdsong echoes in the distance. Wildflowers bloom between stones, and somewhere deep within, you know trust is beginning to take root. You whisper softly, even here, you are good. The words carry through the air, like prayer, like promise. It's strange how quiet confidence can feel stronger than certainty. You no longer need signs. You just need His presence, and you have it. The sky above begins to open. Beams of light break through clouds, falling across the valley floor like blessings. Each beam touches something dry and brings it to life. That is what trust does. It resurrects what fear had buried. You keep walking, following the light, breathing in rhythm with the presence beside you. Sometimes you stumble, sometimes you stop, but you do not lose the way, because trust is not walking perfectly, it's walking persistently. The path winds between two hills in the shadows. You can barely see, but there ahead, a faint glow, the light you've carried all along, shining quietly within you. You remember the verse, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. You whisper it again, not as a quote, but as truth, and you realize the valley isn't the opposite of the mountain, it's the continuation. One is revelation, the other is relationship. One shows you God's power, the other teaches you His presence. You reach a clearing where the wind is calm. You stop, close your eyes, and let silence fill the air. No fear, no hurry, only peace. He is here, the same as before, the same as always. You don't need to see the end of the valley. You only need to take the next step, and the next, and the next, because trust, at its heart, is just choosing love again, moment by moment, breath by breath. You smile softly. This is what faith looks like in motion. Not lightning, not thunder, just footsteps and light. You keep walking until the valley begins to open into plains. The air feels warmer. Again the horizon glows gold, and the whisper comes once more, clear, kind. Close. You are not lost. You are being led. You breathe deeply, and peace settles deeper still. The valley has done its work. It hasn't broken you, it has built you. Your trust no longer wavers with the wind. It flows steady, like the quiet river that runs through your heart. You look back one last time. The mountain gleams in the distance. Bathed in sunlight, you bow your head and whisper, "Thank you for both. The climb and the descent, the summit and the valley, the glory and the grace, because both are holy, both are His." You walk forward again, the valley fading behind you, your heart light, your faith strong, your steps sure, and as night begins to fall, a gentle glow appears once more, the same light, the same promise. I am with you, always. The night is almost over. The valley behind you glows faintly with silver light, and the horizon ahead begins to soften, a quiet promise of dawn. You stop for a moment, standing between what has been and what will be. The world feels suspended, like a breath held by heaven itself. This is the promise of tomorrow. You can feel it, the hush before morning, the warmth beneath the wind, the small but certain pulse of life rising again. God's presence feels different here, not as thunder, not as fire, but as quiet assurance, the kind that says, "Even before the sun rises, I am already here." You look toward the edge of the sky. The stars are fading slowly, making room for light. Every ending carries the seed of beginning. Every shadow holds a memory of dawn. For so long, you've walked through night. You've faced rivers and deserts, mountains and valleys. You've carried burdens and laid them down. You've met God in silence and in flame, and now you stand at the threshold of a new day. You don't know what tomorrow holds, but you know who holds tomorrow, and that changes everything. Hope is not the denial of darkness. It is the declaration that light is coming anyway. You breathe deeply. The air smells like rain and renewal. You close your eyes and whisper, "Thank you for what's ahead, even before I see it," because real faith isn't built on sight. It's built on trust in the unseen. You remember the words once spoken, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future." Those words feel alive now, woven into every breath, every heartbeat. God's promises are not distant. They are already unfolding, even in what you cannot see. He is preparing what you will soon step into. The horizon glows brighter. The first streaks of gold stretch across the sky. You feel warmth touch your face, soft, gentle, healing. This is not just morning, this is mercy, renewed and rising. Each day is a gift, a fresh page in a story already written by grace. You start to walk again. The ground beneath your feet feels alive. The dew clings to the grass, sparkling like 1,000 small miracles. And then you remember, you don't have to chase what's next. You only have to walk with the one who already waits. There tomorrow is not a test. It's a continuation of love. Close your eyes and rest in that truth. Inhale hope, exhale worry, inhale promise, exhale fear. Each breath anchors you deeper in. Trust, each step draws you closer to peace. The birds begin to sing. Their melody is simple, but it fills the air with joy. You realize they do not worry about tomorrow. They simply sing because the light has returned. And maybe that's what hope looks like, singing before you see the sun. You lift your eyes again. The world is awakening. Color spills across the sky, turning darkness into art. Your heart beats softly, in rhythm with creation. There's something sacred about this moment, this quiet knowing that God's faithfulness didn't end last night. It never ends. Every morning, He writes His love again across the sky. Every sunrise is a sermon of grace. You whisper, Lord, teach me to live like this, to meet each tomorrow with open hands. And the voice within answers, then let today be enough. You pause, you let the words settle. It's true, tomorrow's promise begins in today's presence. When you trust Him with now, you've already trusted Him with what's next. You walk a little farther. The sun crests the horizon. Light floods the valley below. Everything it touches turns to gold. The river gleams. The desert breathes. The mountain glows. Every place you've been, every season you've survived, all shining now beneath the same light. You smile because you realize tomorrow was never about a destination. It was always about continuation. God's promise isn't just that you will make it. It's that He will make it with you. Every sunrise says, you are still here. Every breath says, I am still with you. You stop walking and lift your face to the sky. The warmth soaks into your skin, your hands, your heart. You whisper softly, this is enough. And it is. Because enough is not about having everything. It's about having Him. You think of all the times you doubted you would reach this place, all the nights you thought the darkness would win, and yet, here you are. Tomorrow was already written before you feared it. It was always going to hold light. It was always going to hold grace. You take a deep breath, and the future no longer feels heavy. It feels holy. You don't have to predict it, plan it, or protect it. You only have to live it. With open hands and a steady heart, the wind carries the scent of new beginnings. The horizon widens. The birds rise into the sky, their wings catching the light. You watch them go and smile. They don't cling to the branch, they trust the air. So will you, because the same God who holds the wind holds you. The same God who paints the sky, painting your story. And when tomorrow comes, as it surely will, you'll meet it not with fear, but with peace. You'll wake to a voice as soft as dawn, saying once again, I am with you, and that will be enough. The sun rises fully now. Its light spills across your path, and you begin to walk again, not rushing, not striving, just being. Each step becomes a promise fulfilled. Each breath becomes an act of faith, and as the world awakens around you, you carry within you the quiet certainty that there is no day too uncertain, no night too long, no tomorrow too far for His love to reach. You whisper into the new light, thank you for what is coming, and heaven answers in the warmth on your skin. I am already there. The sun has set once more. The golden light fades into soft blue, and then into the deep calm of night. The air is still. The world exhales, and you stand again on sacred ground. This is the eternal rest. The journey has been long. You have walked through fire and water, mountain and valley, shadow and dawn, and yet through it all, you have never walked alone. The whisper has followed you here, steady and gentle. I am with you now. It is time to rest, not the rest of exhaustion, but the rest of completion. You are not running anymore. You are not striving to understand. You are simply being in His presence, in His peace, in His eternal love. The night sky stretches wide above you. Stars bloom like flowers of light, each one a reminder of promise. Every star shines because He said, "Let there be light." And every breath you take echoes that same command, "Let there be life." You sit down by the river's edge, the same river that once rushed through your valley. Now it moves slowly, gently, as though it too is resting. The water reflects the heavens, infinite light meeting infinite stillness. You close your eyes and breathe. The sound of the river becomes a lullaby, its rhythm matching the slow beat of your heart. Each breath is a prayer, each heartbeat a song of surrender. The journey that began in ends in faith. The striving that began in weariness ends in worship. This is the place where the restless finally rest, where the soul, long wandering, finds its home. You think of Moses once more. He saw the promised land from afar, but his truest rest was not a place on earth. It was the presence of God beside him. That same presence is beside you now, not in thunder or flame, but in stillness. The eternal rest is not far away. It is here, now, within reach. You breathe again. Slower this time. Inhale grace, exhale, exhale, striving, inhale. Peace, exhale, fear. And the world feels lighter. There is nothing left to prove, nothing left to fix, nothing left to earn. You are loved, you are held, you are safe. The night deepens. Around you, the stars shimmer. Brighter, you can almost feel heaven leaning. Close, there is no separation. Now no boundary between your heart and His dot. Only communion, only calm, only love. You whisper softly, "Lord, I am home," and heaven whispers back, "You always were." The realization settles like a soft blanket. All the years of searching, the days of running, the nights of questioning, they were leading you here, not to an ending, but to an embrace. Rest is not the absence of motion. It is the presence of peace. You are no longer walking toward God. You are resting in God. Your soul relaxes. Deeper the tension leaves your body. The weight slides away. Your breathing slows, matching the rhythm of eternity. You are still, and He is near. You remember the words of Jesus, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." You finally understand rest is not escape. It is return. Return to simplicity. Return to surrender. Return to love. The wind moves softly. Through the trees it sounds like a sigh. The world itself resting in its maker. The river hums a song of peace. The night cradles your spirit. Even the silence feels alive, and within that silence, a voice speaks again, not loud, not distant, but deep within you. Be still, and know that I am God. You don't need to answer, you just let the words sink in. Like roots drinking in water, your soul begins to glow from within, not with fire, but with warmth, with the gentle radiance of belonging. This is what heaven feels like. Not far, not later, but now heaven is this, to rest fully in the heart of God. Time feels slower now. You no longer think in minutes or hours. You simply exist, floating between breath and being. The eternal rest isn't the end of life. It is the beginning of living without fear. You lie down beside the water. The ground is soft. The stars shimmer above you like a promise. Fulfilled, peace presses gently against your skin. You feel his nearness in every heartbeat. You are no longer asking for miracles. You are breathing one, and in that breath, you sense eternity, not as distance, but as presence. You whisper, "Thank you for staying." The words drift upward like smoke, like incense rising from a quiet altar. He answers without sound, but you feel it, the pulse of love beneath everything. It is the rhythm of the universe, the same rhythm that carries galaxies and keeps your heart beating. You belong to it. You belong to him. You realize, then this rest will never end, because the one who gives, it never leaves. Even when you wake tomorrow, even when the sun returns, the rest will remain, not as sleep, but as peace, peace that walks with you, peace that breathes through you, peace that whispers still, "I am with you." The night deepens one last time. The stars shimmer like eyes full of kindness. The river hums a song that never ends. You close your eyes and let everything go, not in loss, but in love. The world fades, the light remains, and somewhere beyond thought, you rest fully, finally, forever, in him. The night has done its work. It has emptied your fears, softened your heart, and laid your soul upon still waters. Now, in the distance, a faint light stirs, soft, golden, the whisper of dawn returning once more. This is the return to light. You do not rush toward it, you simply notice it, the gentle shimmer along the horizon. Like God smiling through the morning, the stars begin to fade, one by one, handing the sky back to the sun, and in that exchange, night into day, silence into song, rest into rising. You feel something awaken within you. You are not the same soul who entered this night. You are lighter, softer, stronger in ways that words cannot reach. You have seen the face of peace. You have felt the weight of grace. You have learned that rest is not the end, it is preparation for beginning again. The river nearby stirs, reflecting streaks of silver and gold. The water sings of renewal. Every ripple tells a story. You have survived. You are still here, and he is still with you. You rise slowly, your body moving with the rhythm of new light. The air feels different now, alive, awake, pure. You take a deep breath, and the first rays of morning find your face. They do not startle. They bless. You whisper quietly, "Good morning, Lord," and the world seems to whisper back, "I never left." The trees sway softly in the wind. The earth hums beneath your feet. The sky, vast and endless, opens like a promise fulfilled. Every color is sharper now, every sound more alive. The simple act of breathing feels holy. You realize this light was not new. It had always been waiting. You simply had to wake to see it. That is what redemption feels like. Not the arrival of something foreign, but the remembrance of something eternal. You walk slowly toward the light. Your steps are unhurried, each one a quiet hallelujah. The shadows stretch behind you, not as threats, but as proof that the light has come. You remember every moment of your journey, the fear, the wandering, the questions whispered into dark skies. And now you see, none of it was wasted. Every valley taught trust, every silence taught listening. Every night prepared you for morning. You whisper softly, "Thank you for every shadow that led me to the light." The words drift upward, and in return comes the warmth of the sun, the touch of his hand upon your spirit. This is not just the dawn of another day, it is the dawn of understanding. You were never alone, not for a breath, not for a heartbeat. Even in the depths of night, he was already lighting your way. That's what grace does. It hides inside. Darkness, oh, it can surprise you at sunrise. You stop walking and look back. The valley glimmers behind you, soft with mist and memory. You smile, you bless the night for its lessons. You bless the dawn for its mercy. You bless your soul for enduring both. Then, turning forward again, you begin to walk into the light, not as someone returning to life, but as someone who never truly left it. For even in the night, you are held by the same hands that now lift the sun. The light grows stronger. It spills across the river, touches the trees, and wraps around you like a garment of gold. You close your eyes and let it fill you. This is not a blinding light. It is a healing one. It doesn't erase what has been. It redeems. It, the fire that once burned in the bush, the whisper that once echoed in the desert, the hand that once parted the sea, they are all the same light, and it shines now within you. You feel it in your breath. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in the stillness of your mind. It is his spirit, not visiting, but dwelling. The God of Moses, the God of dawn, the God who said, "I will be with you," is still saying it now. You open your eyes. The world is awake. Birdsong weaves through the air like prayer. A soft breeze moves across your face, the kind of wind that carries promises. You lift your arms slightly, palms open to the sky. No words, just gratitude. And in that moment, you understand light is not something you chase, it's something you carry. You have become what you sought. You have become what he promised. You walk forward, step by step, heart steady, soul anchored. The path ahead glows clear, bathed in morning. You know there will be more. Nights, more valleys, more questions, but you no longer fear them, because every night now holds the memory of light. Every shadow carries the seed of morning. You will rest again, you will rise again, and through it all, you will remain his. You whisper as you walk, "My God is with me." The words rise with the wind, echoing softly between heaven and earth. My God is with me. The light deepens, turning everything it touches to gold, and for a moment, you feel completely still, not separate from the world, but part of its divine rhythm. The same light that wakes oceans awakes. You dot the same grace that moves mountains, moves in your breath. You are no longer watching the sunrise, you are becoming it. You carry peace within you, love around you, and purpose before you. The journey is complete, but it will never truly end, because eternity does not end. It expands, and so you walk into it, step by step, heart open, soul resting, spirit awake. The whisper comes one last time, clearer than ever before. You are not alone. You never were. You never will be. I am with you. You close your eyes, smile, breathe, and let the light take you home.